Welcome back. It's the Daily Dose brought to you by Give'emHellBrigham.com and CougarSportsInsider.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. I'm Jeff. I'm happy to be here with you once again today. Thank you to everybody who subscribed on our first day of this new channel, nearly 200 subscribers. That's fantastic. I encourage the rest of you to subscribe, to like the videos so that we can help get this new platform up and going and continue our quest to take over the BYU media world. Today, I want to talk about something that's been going on in Provo over the last few months that we've talked about at a micro level, but we really haven't taken a step back and looked at the macro level of what is happening inside the football offices down at BYU. Coming out of the 2022 football season, any BYU fan in the world would have told you that the roster was not ready to compete in the Big 12 conference. BYU needed more talent, BYU needed more depth, and there were a few positions specifically that were really, really scary as BYU looked forward to the offseason. Well, folks, we're seeing a kind of roster overhaul in Provo that we've never seen before. In fact, it's so daunting and the numbers are so big, I've had to take notes to really keep things straight and on track so that I can provide the most accurate information that I can. 52 players who were on the 2022 roster coming out of BYU's regular season finale against Stanford are not on the roster going forward. Some of those players are graduated, some declared early and went to the NFL, others transferred, others retired. In total, 52 players who were at BYU for the final game against Stanford will not be on the roster in 2023. In fact, the spring roster, there's already 11 players who were listed on the spring roster that are no longer with the program, whether they've retired or they've announced their intentions to transfer to another program. That spring roster came out about 8 weeks ago, and we've already seen 11 players that are not on that roster. 42 new names. 42 new names will join BYU in 2023. So far, there's still 9 players who signed in the class of 2023 that will join from the high school or junior college ranks. And then BYU still has 7 or 8 scholarships, by my unofficial count, 7 or 8 scholarships available to offer to players, particularly of the wide receiver position, out of the transfer portal and have them join the roster before 2023. BYU's roster's always crazy. Missionaries are going and coming at all times. You can never really predict when a missionary is going to come home. Sometimes they're gone for their full 2 years. Sometimes they come home after 18 months. Sometimes players who have no mission plans elect to change their course and go on a mission. Managing the roster at BYU is always a tricky endeavor, but we have never seen anything like what we're seeing right now in Provo. With all of these names coming and going, we won't even recognize this team when they hit the field against Sam Houston State in September. But it's something that needed to be done. We all know that BYU's roster wasn't ready to compete. And with the injection of talent and the injection of depth from top to bottom of this roster, BYU's team looks much more formidable going into the Big 12 than it looked like they would just a few months ago. Crazy times in Provo, and the roster additions are not yet finished. Great time to be a BYU fan. Stay tuned to the Daily Dose and to Give'emHellBrigham.com for all of the latest on BYU and BYU athletics. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share with a few friends if you'd like.